All right. Everything's recording, and it's recording from the microphone and not the webcam like I've done before, like in episode 4.
Yep.
All right, cool. Because I've done that before, and it's not the best feeling.
Oh, I know. I know.
All right, so this episode.
I edited that episode.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a interesting part of it. Oh, before we start, Eric told me that he is hopefully releasing a new track this weekend. He's recording this weekend,
yeah.
so we can get a new intro song. So yeah, and he's waiting. Everyone that I've been talking to has been like waiting for the episodes to come out. Even like my mom. So like, there's gonna be episodes that we have to tell her, be like, don't listen to this episode, just skip it. Hello and welcome to another episode of Up Until Now podcast. I am JD.
I'm Andrew.
And welcome back to our podcast. And today we have a very uplifting episode that we are really excited to talk about. Last week we talked a lot about life transitions and the transitions of relationships and the starting of new relationships and also the growth of relationships. So a lot in that episode we talked about being happy, and we talked about pursuing this idea of happiness that our culture has so wonderfully put out into our lives. And we wanted to make sure that we took the time to really think about and delve into our own happiness and how that relates to our lives, and how we find the little things that to be happy about throughout life, or how we even endure like the hard times and pursue that idea and that feeling of happiness. So, Andrew, I know that right now that you have been feeling pretty good. You are pursuing a new relationship. You're in a new living situation. I mean, a lot of things have been changing for you. So would you call yourself like a happy person at the moment? Or do you think like you're still trying to pursue that and try to gain that happiness?
Right now I think I'm like peak of my happiness right now. And I'm just very excited to see where it goes. But I think right now like it's the peak, and it just keeps on growing. Just because every day, like, I'm happier, like my relationship grows, and life continues, and so does my happiness.
All right, so like you would say like this is the peak of your happiness, but truly like you're still growing and you're still like happier by the day, or is it like pretty steady at this point? Has it plateaued?
I don't know. Like, I feel like I get happier every day, just because it gets closer to the future that me and Ashley want. Just because like day 1 and compared to like day 20 something, and it's just like our relationship just gets stronger every day. So like I'm happier every day knowing that our relationship's growing and we're getting closer, and it's just building on that foundation.
Going off of that, like, are there any topics in particular that kind of spark that happiness, or is there anything that you find yourself steering the conversation more towards this area because it makes you feel better, or like, is there anything that kind of topics that really sparked that kind of feeling of joy?
Honestly, it's every day that I go to work and come back from work, like that happiness spikes. When I leave for work, it's very nice because I get to wake her up and say, good morning, and I give her a kiss goodbye. And then throughout the day, like, I mean, I love my job, so like that has to do with it too. Like it's rare for people to love their job. Like, I love my job, even though like I'm not the greatest at it, but I love my job, and like throughout the day it's fun. So I'm having a great day, and I come home, and it's like I come home to Ashley, and it's the happiness spikes again. It's like, woohoo! I missed her all day, and I get to be with her.
I mean, that's good. That's awesome, man. I'm happy for you. Even, I'm sure our listeners are even happy for you, because when we started this podcast and where we are now, 13 episodes in, there has been like a crazy 180-degree turn from where we were essentially, like in our lives, to what we are now and today.
I know. It's literally like a 180 degree.
Yeah, it's been like what, almost 7 months now since we started? Because we started like talking about this idea in October, it really manifested in November, and we've kind of been going off since that. So it's been almost 7 months since we've actually like tried to really start this podcast and really get that out there. So,
Yep.
I mean, just to see that 180, I think is really cool.
It's gonna be so cool listening back on the episodes too, because like you can just tell like the amount of change that like both of us have gone through.
To be honest, though, what I'm scared about is, you know how people always say like life is a roller coaster. You have your ups and downs, and it always happens. So clearly we're on like, we went down and we came back up. So we're in a pretty good spot right now in life when it, outside of the worldwide pandemic that's going on. Mm-hmm. Like we're in a pretty good spot. Like we're happy, we're working, we're staying safe, of course. So listeners, don't worry. Yeah. Like we're taking our health protocols very, very seriously. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. The thing that I'm kind of scared about is like that downturn. Because people say like the higher you go, the longer you fall. You know what I'm saying?
Like the funny thing is, I tell this to Ashley all the time. It's like how did I get so lucky and like snag you? And then like I tell her all the time, like I used up all my fucking luck. I saved up my entire life. Now I'm just waiting for my life to crash and burn because I have no luck to spare in my life anymore.
Well, hopefully you don't even need luck anymore, because it's not about luck anymore. It's all about hard work and dedication. And I think that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm, even for myself, I think about that like almost every day. I'm like, oh my God, I'm marrying an incredible human being. Mm-hmm. How did I get so lucky? Like, I think a lot of us, we have a detrimental kind of, what is it called? Like self-image that we have. Like we think lowly of ourselves. And I don't know, finding a person that doesn't see that bullshit that we talk about, but really going into the actual person that we are and the image that we actually are, and finding that person and being able to spend all this time and becoming in a relationship with that person is like a great feeling.
Mm-hmm. It is.
So going back to the topic of happiness and moving forward with that, do you personally think that happiness is a feeling, or is it like a state of being, like a state of mind?
I think it's a state of mind. Only because like I truly believe in that you can choose to be happy and you can choose to not be happy. You can make the best of a situation. There are those people that go like, oh, look on the bright side, like glass half full. I used to be glass half empty all the time. I'm very pessimistic when it comes to things because I hate being let down. I rather just think of my like outcomes as being negative, just so like if it does come out negative, it's like, oh, I mean, I was expecting that already. But then if it's flip-flopped, I'm like, holy shit, like I wasn't expecting that. But I'm trying to be more of the glass half full kind of guy right now. Not only because of my situation, but just because of like the whole thing that's happened with me, like from when we first started this podcast. I wanted to change the way I view life, and things had to change. Otherwise, I never would have gotten out of that slump. And I think it was the right thing for me to do because my life has seemed to be just moving up and brighter from there. So I always try thinking of the glass half full and look at the bright side of things.
For me, I completely agree. I think that happiness is a state of mind. I think true happiness is like what you said. It's about finding the little things and really focusing in on the things that make you happy and seeing the bright side of things and being a guy that thinks of the glass as half full and not half empty. Being able to not only pick out the moments that make you happy, but also creating those moments, like creating
opportunities for yourself.
Opportunities. Exactly. Creating opportunities and letting those doors open for you and being open-minded and essentially like having an open heart, as corny as that sounds, like having that openness and being able to really take in everything that you are either blessed with or I guess cursed with, and being able to take all that in and finding and creating an atmosphere where you can be happy and you can pursue that sense and that state of being happy. A lot of it is in control of you. Like you're in control of that. Yeah, of course, there are certain situations where that's not entirely the case, which is very understandable. And again, we're not trying to exclude outliers and other things in our podcast, but it's more about talking to the masses and talking specifically about who we feel that we are as individuals and as people. And I think we're kind of more in the normal range. Like we're like normal quote unquote people. And I think that's just kind of what the group that we tend to talk about, because again, that's where we spent most of our lives. So,
I mean, like a perfect example would be like literally my life right now. Like I have not received my tax return or my stimulant check. And like especially during these times, like it sucks, you know? Everyone can use that extra bit of cash and money, whatever. But the way I look at it is I still have a roof over my head. I have food. I get to go to work and make some money, even though it's not a lot, but it's still enough to keep me going. And you know, if worse comes to worse, I'm very lucky to have friends and family who's there for me. If I desperately need help, like I know that they'll be there for me. So like that's how I try looking at it instead of like, oh fuck the government screw me over, or oh my god, how am I gonna fucking survive?
Especially in this time and age where COVID-19 is running rampant. I just saw on this website that I go on for work that the US now has over 1 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 within the United States. That's a pretty shitty number. Like that's a lot of people in the United States that has been affected by COVID-19. And that's not even just 1 million people that are affected, but it's like their families, loved ones, friends.
Right.
Like it's like a whole shit ton of people. I mean, one of my close friends actually was COVID positive. Like he was tested positive for COVID-19.
Ooh.
From what I understand, he's still alive. Like I'm still texting him and I'm still like talking to him. He's still alive. The fact that it's affecting other people and it's not just the million, it's not just that number, but it's everybody, man. It's everybody. Being able to find happiness in like this weird pandemic times where everything is up in the air, everything is like no one knows what's going to happen tomorrow or even like next month. Esther and I can't make plans at all for next month because we're just sitting here waiting and seeing what happens with the government and seeing what happens with, you know, like if we're actually flattening the curve or if we're just spiking it up or if it's been spiked up because of the very questionable leadership that we have in this country.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion, I'm sorry if you're a Trump supporter, but I do not believe he's doing a good job handling this pandemic. Moving away from the politics and going along with our topic, in these weird kind of, I would say, stressful and hard times, like how have you been trying to find your happiness? How have you been not just relying on other people for your happiness, but how have you personally been changing your mindset or been adjusting your life to find and leave avenues of happiness to find you?
I mean, that has to go with what I said earlier about change my mindset earlier on this year. Nothing to do with like what's going on now. It's just how I wanted to change my life after the new year and all that crap too. I mean, that really helped me boost my confidence and everything all at once. And my life already seemed a lot brighter once I started viewing life as a half full glass. And luckily, I know you said not through people, but like luckily I do have amazing people in my life that uplift my spirit every day. Like Ashley is a huge one. You're a huge one. Kevin, my cousin, Christine, my cousin Sarah just had a baby.
Oh, she had a baby?
Yeah, she had her second boy.
Oh my God, they have two now? Holy shit.
Like that was like huge news for the family, and like that made me super happy knowing that like, well, I mean, it sucks that he got bored into like this pandemic, but you know, like we have another family member. Like it's crazy.
But the family's healthy and everything's fine?
Healthy, they're doing great. And
that's incredible.
She's tired from pushing, but can't blame her. But like things like that, and then like work. I mean, I love work. Again, like it's rare to find that. And I hope if my coworkers hear this one day, they know I hope they realize and know that I genuinely love going to work, even though like I act like a dumbass and like I goof around a lot. Like I want them to know that like I do that because I'm very comfortable around them and I can be myself. And that's like the reason why like I pursued that job, because I found happiness there.
Oh, that's awesome. And you're working in maintenance again, right?
Yeah.
I remember we were talking about it like in the early episodes, and like how you talk about you love maintenance and doing a 0-point turn lawnmowers and all that crap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that.
It's so fun because like I didn't grow up with all that stuff, and being able to play with all that. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say play with the fucking equipment and stuff, but it's fun. Like it's new for me. I learn something every day. Like even if I'm not learning, I'm growing on that experience and like I'm getting better at it. And shit, today like I push mode the front of our parks department. And my direct superior, Nate, he was like, "Who pushed in front of the rec center?" I disappointingly rose my hand like, "I did." And then he's like, "You did good." And I was confused at first, and I was like, "Wait a second, are we sure we're talking about the same place?" And then he's like, "The front." I was like, "Oh wait, he's talking about the front where Chris zero turned it." I was like, "Oh, that was Chris." And then he was like, "You sure?" Because Chris was on the zero turn. I don't think you could bring the zero turn there. He's like the front door, like right next to the front door. I was like, "Oh, I did." He's like, "Look damn good, Chung." I was like, "Oh my god." I didn't know I could do so well in push mowing. And like things like little like acknowledgments from him like makes my day so much better. Just because like I started off not knowing anything and to get like an acknowledgement from him. See like there's like an inside joke running that like I crave Nate's approval. And and like I'm like a little puppy. Like I'm always seeking his attention. Like, am I doing good, boss? Am I doing good? Did I do it? And then he's like, "Chung, you don't need my approval, man. Like, be your own man." I was like, "Nah, I fucking need it." Because like, but like to me, like I need it because I started off with like no experience in any of these, and just like getting that approval from him, like it makes me feel so much better because it just means that like I'm improving on my skills and I'm like working hard, and at least like it looks like that in other people's eyes too, and like that makes me happy. And today I got that for push mowing.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. I mean, like even for me, like for me, it is about always being central in the thought that I am in control of my happiness. I am in control of my emotions. Yes, of course, like I get hangry and I get frustrated and annoyed and stressed. Yes, of course, but always trying to pull back, and Esther pulling me back and saying, "Hey, listen, you are in control of your own emotions. So you have to make sure that you're strong enough to be able to find that happiness and find a place where like you're content with life." I mean, for me, it's all about finding the little things to be happy about. Being able to find just like a parking spot at Walmart when you go grocery shopping is just like the best feeling in the world. And really kind of finding those little moments where you are really happy and you are able to laugh and smile. And I don't know, through COVID-19, I think a lot of people have had the opportunity to, not the opportunity, but they were literally forced to slow down and find time for themselves.
Right. And I know a lot of people, especially that have families, have been bonding through this. You know, it's a great thing for families to bond. But then there are also like those that I heard domestic violence have been going up too. So like that's the sad part in all this. And like my feels go out to everyone who's been affected by this, and I hope you guys are reaching out for help.
There are a lot of different ways to reach out for help. I mean, I know that Esther shared a Facebook post a few days ago about if you're in domestic help, just send me a text message and asking about if you can,
like cake pops or something like that.
Cake pops or like ice cream or something, like, you know, being able to be that outlet for other people and try to find them as much help as possible. Because you're right, because of the stay-at-home order, the domestic violence and domestic abuse has skyrocketed, and it's a very big concern of like being the outlet and being open to help others is always a great thing. And I think that's what I personally have found through this pandemic is being able to slow down, focus on myself, but also really take the time to think about what I have taken for granted before the pandemic even happened. Simple blessings that I had about just being able to see my family. You know what I mean? It's just some crazy stuff, and those little things that I've taken for granted, and trying to look through the garbage that we have of life, you know, and really trying to find those little things that I took for granted, but also finding ways to be happy and finding ways to connect with my friends and my family without having to be next to them, you know, like Zoom calls or Discord video calls or, you know, FaceTime and all this stuff, and using those things that I have to, I don't know, find my happiness through other people, and being able to like talk and converse with my family. And it's been hard to find that, but I think this pandemic has really taught me that the simple pleasures of life can be easily taken away.
See, like, that's so different from how I see it. Like, I totally and 100% understand what you said and what you're going through. But for me, it's always been like, for the past year, I've been alone. I never worried about like going to see my parents or my parents going to see me. And yeah, like, it sucks that I don't get to go hang out with you as much. But like, that's only because like you're busy. Because like, if I wanted to go to you, like, I can quarantine myself, keep myself clean, and then like go to you when I know I'm good, and all that. But I don't know, like, I'm an introvert. I love the idea of just being inside, playing games, cuddling up with Ashley. Like, it is so nice. I mean, I love the idea that, like, like, when you're walking around, like, random people can, just come up and talk to you.
Yeah.
No, it's not fucking like that. I fucking love that. Like, I love being in my own world when I'm working and, like, not have to worry about some random person coming up and asking me questions because they want to stay the hell away because I'm fucking Asian and I have coronavirus. No, I get to just do my own fucking thing, listen to my music, and work. I don't need to worry about all that. And, like, that's the big difference between me and you. Like, I love that, like, solid... What the hell's that word?
Solitude.
Solitude, yeah. Like, I fucking love that.
I mean, I didn't mind it for like the first couple of days. I was like, all right, this is okay. This is not bad. But now I'm just like, I just want to hug my sister. Like, I don't want to have to think about like, oh man, did she touch somebody that had COVID? Did I touch somebody that had COVID? Like, am I going to be sharing germs? I don't know, man. It's been a little rough for me. And I think you know that because I've been trying to get you and Ashley to come over for like this weekend, but I was unsuccessful in that.
I'm sorry. She had to go see her family too, so she had to be quarantined and all that stuff.
Oh, no, that's completely okay. I completely understand. And to be honest, man, I don't even think I'll be able to see you until like June.
Oh, I know.
Okay, I have a question for you, Andrew. Do you think that in today's day and age, there's a pressure to be happy or at least seem like you're happy?
What do you mean by today's day and age? Like, you mean because of COVID? Or
not because of COVID, I like society, like in general, not because of the pandemic, but even before the pandemic and even now, like, do you think that there's ever been a pressure to be happy? Like,
hell yeah. Because no one wants to be associated with the fucking lousy fucking grump. Like, oh, who wants to be friends with that depressed idiot? This guy says hello, I want to kill myself.
Hi. This guy says hello, I want to kill myself.
Like, no, like you want to be like that happy person that everyone wants to be near. That's just how it is. Like, fucking society put that in our minds. Like, be happy, you make more friends being happy.
Yeah, it's like one of those, like, the saying, you catch more flies with honey than with vinegar, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like, quit being a sourpuss and just be a fucking happy-go-lucky idiot.
For me, yes, I completely agree. I think the pressure is even more so now, because I think that kind of pressure where you were talking about where being societal and being conversational and just being that person that everybody likes is always been there, because it's always been there.
Yeah.
I think right now, the thing that hits me the most and gets me kind of envious and very frustrated that my life isn't like theirs is social media.
Oh, yeah.
Social media has single-handedly destroyed my sometimes happy-go-lucky feelings. Because, like, on Instagram, it's always about, like, oh, who's vacationing, who's doing this, who looks the best, who's, like, the best-looking person. It's been hard. Like, social media can be a toxic environment. I'm not saying that it always is. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying sometimes the way that I use social media, it is definitely not the best thing to use or to be on,
Hell yeah. I mean, with the whole cyberbullying crap, with the whole jealousy, who's better than who, people always trying to, like, one-up each other and, like, like, I totally agree with you on the whole toxicity of that whole social media crap.
It's been hard, man. Like, as a photographer, you want to get inspiration from people. You want to be able to see something on social media or in a magazine and be like, oh, wow, that's awesome. I want to do something like that, and I want to put my own twist on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like nowadays it's always about...
You're trying to cater to the viewers. You can't be yourself.
Yeah, and you're trying to not only be inspired, but you're copying.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that I am leaning towards that always. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I want to do exactly that, But in my head, I'm just like, you know what? No, you don't need to do exactly that to get followers. You just need to be yourself and post the content that you like, because then you'll attract the audience that you want. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the person where I show somebody my work and they're like, oh, okay. Where they think that, oh, I've seen this before. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
I want to be the person to be like, oh, I like this. Like, these are really good. Like, that's different. I like that. Like being able to curate something that
It's original.
And it shows people my character. So it's been hard because I see all these people that have like hundreds of thousands and millions of followers on Instagram. And I'm like, oh, I want to be like them. And I'll just be like, what if I just copy everything that they do? Will I get followers like that? Probably not. Like social media sometimes for me is like the hardest place. I don't think it's almost impossible to be happy on social media unless you just follow like a bunch of dog accounts or cat accounts, and like that's fine. But if you follow anybody else, like any human account, it's normally like they're just showing you the best of their life and you're just trying to one up them all the time, and you're never happy with your life because someone's life is better than yours. So I don't know, man. Social media is so much pressure on like trying to find that happiness and finding that balance, like of like counting your blessings and being stressed in a little bit,
See, again, like that's different for me too, because I use social media as an outlet to make me happier. Because again, the only social media I use pretty much is now TikTok. And yes, I am a TikTok creator, but I don't create TikToks of myself. I use TikToks to, brighten up people's day when I can, of my dog and now of Ashley's cat. And like, to me, like I didn't get that app so I can like show off like being what I am or anything like that. It's just so like I post videos of my dog just being goofy just to make someone laugh. And if it makes someone smile, like I did my job. And see, like that's how I use social media. And like every once in a while, like I follow a shit ton of dog accounts. So like you said, unless you're a dog account, like I'm fucking happy scrolling through those fucking videos. It's like, oh, this is cute. This is fucking cute. Like I like look at it very differently than you do.
Yeah, I think for me it's a hard thing to do because I'm not just looking for, you know what, I don't really look to social media for happiness really. I use it as a tool, or I try to use it as a tool for my photography and my creative work. It's really hard finding that balance of, am I doing it for inspiration or am I doing it because I'm envious and I'm jealous of the people that are there? Most of the time it's because I'm envious, and that's why I keep looking, and that's why I keep scrolling up and keep scrolling through Instagram for hours and hours, because I'm like, oh man, these people are so much better than I am. And it eventually turns to the fact where I don't even pick up my camera because I'm like, what's the point of even trying, because I can't create content like that.
I honestly feel like it's a little bit of both for you. It's not like you gave up on photography. You do get inspired by it. But again, like that whole envious thing is like, your life status is different than those people that have millions and millions of followers. Some of them have millions and millions of dollars to help them with all that stuff. I bet you if you can travel around the world every fucking day, you can get some amazing shots. And like, I know you can. And it's just different. Like your lifestyles are different. Like the current state of your lives are different. And yeah, you're going to be envious of those. Like, shit, I am like that. Every time I see a TikTok video and it's like, oh, shit, you have 18 cars? That must be nice. I still have one. Yeah. It's just like little stuff like that. I think you do get inspired. I honestly do. And I think it's a good thing to have that envious passion that drives you. Because that, honestly, you do good work when you get heated about something, and especially like if you're envious about it and you want it enough, I know you'll get it.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. One of my side dreams and that I would love to do, besides us opening up our own business in Colorado, is being a travel photographer.
Yeah.
That would be my dream job, like just travel, take photos and come back and edit and send them out, do whatever. Right now, again, like what you said, like my current life status, I can't really do that at this moment. Like there's so many other things that I want to go with my life with, like my relationship and my future marriage and things like that. So being able to do those things, it's the window is closing a little bit, but it's not closed, but I want to keep pursuing and I want to keep getting better. It's just
you are 25 years young. We are young as shit. We are living the prime years of our lives.
It's so difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it is.
Working full time and doing this podcast, which I love doing. I love doing this podcast. Is not a complaint at all. But being able to do that and photography, it's been a hustle, man. It's been
it's hard work, but it'll pay off. It'll pay off. One of us will pop off, or hopefully the both of us will pop off, and we will have the lives that we want. I know it.
You know how people say, like, if you want to achieve your goals, you got to write them down? I think this is our version of writing it down. Yeah. Like, it's our version, like, we want this in life, and we're going to continually talk about it on this podcast and moving forward with it and, quote-unquote, writing it down or recording ourselves talking about what we want and how we want to achieve these dreams and these goals that we have. You're right. I think we're going to get there. Eventually, it's going to happen. It's going to be tough. It's going to be rough, but I think we can do it. I really do.
I know we can. Going back to our main topic, talking about our future like this, like the little things, this fucking makes me happy. It makes me excited. It gets me fucking going and pumped. Like, it makes me want to keep recording more and more. It makes me want to, like, pursue everything that we want to pursue.
Oh, yeah. I am completely with you there, man.
Fucking the little things, man.
I mean, this podcast is especially one of them. I think it's like, this podcast is not a little thing. It's like, it's a big thing that we've committed to do, because I don't know if I said this on the podcast yet, but I had like an extra camera and a few lenses lying around in my apartment. I literally sent them off to a company to get them looked over, and they're going to buy it from me, hopefully. What I was going to do is I was going to take all that money and invest it into this podcast and in getting better podcasting gear. Which means that hopefully within the next couple of weeks or whatever, by episode 25, we'll have like a whole new setup. We'll have a nice like slider thing that I was showing Andrew the other day, and nice microphones and stuff. So being able to use your passions and your creativity to create something and get your emotions out there, I feel like has been like a stress relieving thing for me recently.
Whenever we record, it makes me feel better. Again, I'm talking to my best friend. Like, we get to catch up. What's not to be fucking happy about? I get to see him through fucking video call. Like, we get to be stupid on fucking podcasts and just talk normally. Like, it's literally every time we talk, like, even before podcasting, like, we pick up where we left off. And that was like the thing I loved about our friendship.
And I think the crazy thing was I was just listening to episode 1. And I was like, what the fuck? This sounds so bad. Like, it doesn't even sound like us. It was so like scripted and stuff like that. I remember when we first recorded episode 1, we had to do like 3 or 4 takes because we're like, oh, we rehearsed it. And it was so bad. I'm just like, this is awful. Like,
it wasn't natural.
What is going on?
But like, this is natural. We're just talking, and it's like talking to my best friend. It's not like I'm talking to like a scripted paper version of you, but
yeah, I'm really excited about where this is gonna go, because honestly, in the future, I'm hoping what can happen is we can have like, it won't be consistent, but there'll be more episodes where it's like 4 people.
Yeah, I feel like once we get our episodes out, hopefully we will be by the end of this week, because we're just waiting idly for our edits. But
come on, graphic designer dude, we need that album cover, man.
I know, like, hopefully, but like, I feel like as soon as like we get this out and we get some opinions back, we can start pushing out episodes like for the people, and that'll cater towards them, and it'll get more viewers in, and it'll get this going.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. And even like with even our equipment, I was thinking, like, even in my head, I'm like, if the things happen in the way that I hope it's like gonna happen with the equipment that we're gonna get and invest in, you and Ashley can be hooked up in there, and then Esther and I can be hooked up over here, and we could just have like a 4-way call and just
that'd be
really
awesome.
Really delve deep in it and kind of be there for each other. And I'm really excited about that. Like, I'm just thinking about these things, and again, like talking about like potential plans for our future, like finding happiness in that, and not thinking about like where your life can go to shit, but thinking about where, like you said, where our lives can pop off is gonna be really helpful.
Hell yeah. There's a lot of people hoping that I pop off, like Nate, Brooke, my work mama. I promised them some things once I make tons of money that I will do for them, because, you know, they were there for me. I want to be there for them if I can. And one day when I pop off, Nate's gonna have this amazing drawer in his garage. Brooke's not gonna
like
have
the tool chest, like those tool chest things. Yeah.
I have a picture of it. Took it at the second, like we went to Lowe's together, and like he just mentioned, he's like, "Oh, that's a nice drawer." Took a photo of it. And I said, "Hey, boss, once I pop off, that'll be waiting for you in your garage. You can count on me." And then there's Brooke, who I want to do everything for. She's my work mama. Like, she has been there for me more than anyone ever.
There's so many people out there right now that have been asking about where the fuck our podcast has been, because we've been talking about it for months.
Yeah.
And it's pretty crazy because nobody has seen how much work we've actually put in. Like 13 episodes is a lot of work.
That's a lot of editing. Well,
A lot of editing.
you did a lot of work.
I did a lot of editing, and which is completely fine. Like, I enjoy it. It's an interesting way of, like, again, expressing my creativity and creating something that I want to create. But man, it's been hours. Like, the last episode that I just finished editing, which was episode 9 about like our dogs and our pets and stuff. The original sound clip was 1 hour and 48 minutes long.
Nope, fuck that bullshit.
And I got it down to 1 hour and 26 minutes.
Jesus, we talked
So
a lot
it's
about
still
dogs.
a long fucking ass episode. It's super long. Like, I remember at the end, we're like, "Oh, if you stayed this long, thank you so much. And we're so sorry we had to put you through this long ass episode." Honestly, again, it was just a conversation between 3 people about something that we loved. Like,
Right.
someone, like our little fur babies.
Our little babies.
Just finding those things to, push you through the shitty times, and finding like your pets or your family through Zoom calls or whatever, and finding those little things that just make you happy.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to be happy?
Exactly.
Like, if you don't want to be happy, fucking get out of here, you mean old Grinch.
Yeah, because
punk
if
ass.
you're not happy, then no one else around you is happy.
Yeah, surround yourself with happy people. Just like the whole fucking the whole society stigma crap. Like, be around happy people. That makes you happy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a saying out there that like you as a person are like the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with.
Yeah.
Lately, with Esther and her friends in Seattle, and you and me and our relationship and how that's grown over the past even just 7 months, it's been nice, man. And like being able to edit our podcast and hear like the fun conversations that we've had, like 4 episodes ago, calling Caillou a little bitch, is just like, and keep hearing that, it's just like so fun, and it's so funny. It brings memories. Little bitch ass Caillou. But it's been a crazy 7 months, and it's been a good ride so far. And
Oh yeah, it's only gonna get better, man. It's only gonna get better.
no intentions of like getting off this ride, man. None at all.
You know that roller coaster ride that you talked about? You know how
Yeah.
you said we're like at that peak highness?
Yeah.
It's just a steady ride now. Like,
I don't know about that, man. Like, let's hope for the steady ride and just like a couple increases, but there's gonna be something that's gonna drop our shit.
what would drop my shit? If I don't get this fucking stimulant check. Oh.
Hey, we're tying it back to the beginning, man. We're getting good at this podcasting stuff.
I know. I'm fucking loving it, man.
I'm just waiting for the sponsors to reach out to our email, which is upuntilnowpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, and please check out our Instagram. Like, why were we giving ourselves plugs and shit?
Of course, we always have to give ourselves plugs. It's shameless. They're all shameless plugs.
I honestly can't wait until we start having guest speakers. Like, I already know some people that I'm like, I know that are gonna be happy to come into our show, and I know they're successful.
I'm telling you, the piece of equipment that I'm looking at, you can plug in a phone and just have them record on the phone, and it records directly into the programs that we have.
Like, when we're just on call with them on the phone.
Yeah, so they can hear us and we can hear them.
Boom, done. I already know some people.
I'm waiting for the people that are reviewing my camera gear. I am waiting for them to get back to me, and then I'll be like, you know what? I just want that all in cash, please, and I will bring it to somewhere else and get some podcasting gear.
Fuck yeah.
Quite honestly, I was kind of worried when we first started this podcast, because I was like, is Andrew going to be as into it as I am, or is it going to be like just like me doing all the work and he's just going to be talking once every week? But it's actually been a very good split of work. I do a lot more editing work, which is fine.
Hey, we need to talk about this. When we get money, let's put it on the record right now. When we when and if and when we get money off this, you will be earning more than me. I hand to God 60-40, 70-30, just depending on how much we make. I know you put in more work than I have and you deserve more. Like, see, like, that's the thing between me and you. Like, I know the difference between, like, what I earned in this. And I help
which is
out when
really
I
great,
can.
and I appreciate that. Yeah.
But you like doing it and you're better at it, let's be honest here. So why not
thank
give it
you.
to you and, like, let you keep more of the earnings out of it? And
But I mean, again, that's just we have a contract set up right now.
we
I think.
already all got that.
Yeah, we already thought of that shit.
We're not rookies. Gosh.
My question to you is, since you're the one that recently has gone into a more steeper downhill, are there any tips that you have for people that are like kind of on the down end of it and trying to claw their way back up?
Yeah. Don't give up. I know that's very corny, don't give up. Like, I gave up. Luckily, me giving up didn't work out, and it just wasn't meant for me to give up. Once you realize that you shouldn't give up, and I hope you do, be yourself. Screw what other people think about you. Once you're yourself and that right person comes to you and you know it, that makes everything so much better. Like, who cares how long it takes if you're alone for a little bit? Be yourself and love yourself for a little bit. I got to appreciate myself, and, like, I appreciated myself, like, way before, like, the whole downfall and all that, but I got to revisit all that stuff with myself, and, like, I started understanding why I was myself, and, like, I started being myself again, and I found Ashley, and she loves me for being who I am. Like, I can be goofy, be stupid, and it's so much better to be yourself than to pretend to be someone else, and it's exhausting faking it, Just be yourself, be honest. Fuck. I honestly think being yourself makes you so much more happier. I'm so much happier being myself. I can be fucking stupid. Like, that's who I am. Like, I'm stupid. Like, okay, I'm not stupid. I act stupid. But that's just so much fun. Living life like an idiot. It's so fun. Like, why wouldn't you want to live your life in colors? Why be dull like everyone else? Be your fucking own individual, original self. I mean, shit, that's why work is fun for me, because I can be myself, and they accept me. I mean, yeah, they judge me sometimes, but it's fine. That's my biggest tip. Be yourself. I mean, I can keep saying it. Just be yourself.
I completely agree. And to go off of that, even if you are going through a hard time, I think the tip that people give you that is the hardest one to swallow and accept is know when to ask for help.
Oh yeah, that too.
Especially me. I can be a very prideful and very stubborn person. You can ask Esther.
Oh, I know that too.
Asking for help for me is like one of the hardest things that I do. I don't do it very often, but understanding and knowing when you need help and when to ask for help, as cheesy as it sounds, it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. It's a sign of strength, because you understand your limits and you understand that if you keep going, you're not going to make it. And the best thing to do that in your life that you want to do is make it, so you have to ask for help. So if you guys out there need help, please ask for it, because it's not going to come to you on a silver platter. Most of the time, it doesn't happen that way. Like, you have to seek help in order for you to get help. And I think that's the biggest thing, where if you're on a downturn and you know that you can't do it by yourself, reach out for help. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but Andrew went through that kind of situation where he was kind of on that downturn and he asked for help. He reached out to me, he reached out to family members, he reached out to friends, and we were all more than happy and more than willing to stick our neck out and help him. And 7 months later, it's a completely different ballgame where we are continually growing and we're like pursuing our own happiness. And I think that's where people kind of let their pride take advantage of them, where they're just like, oh, I don't need help, I can do it by myself. So that's also one of my big tips, is just ask for help when you need it.
I mean, again, yeah, JD just said it. I went through it. I was prideful because I thought I had to do it alone, and I wanted to do it alone. And it's embarrassing sometimes to ask for help, like, because people look at you like you're weak sometimes if you ask for help, but that's not the case. Some people end up respecting you more because they realize that you're mature enough to ask for help when you need it. it's a life changer. Once you ask for help.
Yeah, and the people that like judge you for asking for help, they're the ones that are idiots, and those are the ones that are stubborn and very immature because
And you know what? If they judge you if you need help, don't fucking associate with them anymore. Like, you don't need that negativity and like that downness in your fucking life.
Exactly.
Why associate people that shouldn't judge you for asking for help? No, fuck that bullshit.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Agreed 100%.
I got passionate about that. I got pissed. Oh God.
And to end on a more positive note, Andrew, if people are kind of going on the up and up and looking for happiness and pursuing that, do you have any tips for people that want to continue or start finding happiness in their life?
I truly believe. I mean, I've told this to my ex and like other friends and everything. Like, if you truly if you want to find happiness in a significant other, at least, you have to be able to accept yourself first. Be happy with yourself, and don't use a relationship as your outlet of happiness. That was a big part of my issue, honestly. I used my significant other as my outlet of happiness, and once that was gone, like, that was it for me. So make sure you know how to be happy with yourself, and make sure your significant other is happy, because you guys should not find happiness through each other alone. You guys should both be happy and then grow together from that happiness, and build upon that happiness as a whole instead of individually, because you individually should already be happy and you guys should merge into it and all that stuff.
So many Friends references. I love this episode. Oh my God, it's amazing.
But fucking people that, are going through up and down, I mean, I know I don't know if that's like the right advice, but like, finding your own happiness, doing what makes you happy and sticking to it, and keeping that positivity in your life, that's gonna make your life a whole lot better, in my opinion. I mean, shit, people are weird, so they might find happiness or some weird shit, but I honestly think it's all about just knowing yourself, being happy with yourself first, and then you can find life so much easier from there, if that makes sense.
I got you. I like it.
I just started rolling with it. Sometimes I say a sentence and I don't know where it's going, but I just keep going.
Sometimes I'll start a sentence and I don't even know where it's going. I just hope I find it along the way.
And The Office in this episode, dude. This is a great episode. So the topic of this podcast came from a recent, I guess, focus group that I was in, is the best way to put it. Esther's best friend was talking about this question specifically about the pursuit of happiness and what is happiness for a class project. And I happened to be in on that conversation. And these are the 4 tips that I came up with while I was listening, and that I think would work for me really well. So number 1, have snacks. For me, I'm a person that gets very hangry. You can ask Esther. When I'm hungry, I am like a 5-year-old. I don't want to do anything. I'm frustrated all the fucking time, and I'm a little hungry right now, so I know that. So have snacks is number 1 tip. Number 2 is try to stay away from social media. If you're in a place where you're trying to continually find happiness, you're not going to find it scrolling through your Instagram feed. You're going to need to find it through, like, again, what Andrew said, knowing yourself and being yourself and promoting that 100% JD energy,
Yeah.
Or that 100% Andrew energy, or whatever, your name energy, Trying to stay away from social media is a good idea. Like, maybe you can post about your shit day, whatever, your happiness, whatever, but don't scroll. If you start scrolling, that's when it starts getting a little scary. And third, can be very subjective to other people, but for me, I like to create something. So finding happiness for me is like being able to express my emotions in ways that are not just like physically through the body, but creating some sort of content. So I have started my own freelance photography business. I have started this podcast with Andrew, and creating something and making something that's uniquely yours and only yours. It makes it, there's a sense of pride in that. And I like that. And that's what continually keeps me happy. The 4th and final tip that I have for people to continually find their happiness is good food, good booze, and better company. Just being able
Ooh.
to surround yourself with people that are those 5 people that increase your happiness average, essentially. There's nothing better than good food, good booze, and better company.
You know, it's funny that you say that. Like, I recently met Ashley's best friend and her husband, and like we hit it off, and like I fucking love them. They're amazing people. They're kind of like us. Like we goof around and we have fun. And the funny thing is, like, you said good food. The husband, he's starting his own. He has his own YouTube food channel. He's a great cook. He makes amazing food. You said good booze. This man used to be a bartender. He always has stocks of liquor, like liquor, and he makes bomb ass mixed drinks and shit. And then you said good company, and it's seeing Ashley happy with her friends and me meeting new people like that. It's amazing. Like, I love that last little advice because like I know how it feels to have that, and it's amazing.
Dude, after this COVID shit is done and over with, like, we have to have like some kind of
all have to hang out.
get together, just all 6 of us. I think that would be a pretty amazing evening, I think.
Yeah. Me and my best friend and her best friend's family, we're just gonna be one big fucking happy family.
I love it. Just before we end this podcast, I want you guys to know that Andrew and I understand that happiness is very subjective. Happiness for one person could be absolute hell for another. So we want you to know that if anything in this podcast doesn't relate to you at all, it makes sense. Even Andrew and I, like, our views of happiness can be very different. We want you to know that we understand that. We just want to tell you how we find our happiness and what happiness is to us, essentially. So it's subjective. If it didn't like strike a chord with you with whatever we said today, that's fine. Doesn't matter. We know that everything's subjective.
Everyone has their own opinions. This is just mine and JD's. And you know what? If it offended you, fuck you. Because this is our happiness. And if our happiness offends you, well, then piss off. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. Don't leave. But seriously, though, find your own happiness. This is ours.
Exactly. And if this doesn't make you happy, then you should really not listen to us.
Yeah, like, if you're already in episode 13 and you disagree with our happiness, then what the fuck are you even doing here? Like, we have been the same throughout. Okay, maybe I haven't been the same, but like, generally, my happiness has been the same. Like we're the same people. And
yeah,
if you are this deep into the episodes and you don't think like us and you're still enjoying it, like, you're weird. You must be clearly bored out of your mind, or someone's forcing you to listen to this.
Again, like, before we sign off, I just want to thank you guys for listening to our podcast and being there for us. And hopefully, if this does happen, sending us emails and sending us messages on Instagram, it really does make us feel better. And so as this podcast progresses and as we are able to really shovel out episodes, essentially, and people actually do start reaching out to us, I hope that eventually we can make a section of our podcast where we can like read things that you guys send to us and things that like make us happy, or things that you guys are going through, and being able to really cater this podcast and make it something that we can actually use to help people. Also, I really want to thank all the listeners for being quarantined and actually being and following the stay-at-home orders, because you may feel like you're not doing anything, but you're doing a shit ton just being at home, because this COVID-19 is no joke. It's scary. It's scary.
Numbers
I
keep going
have
up.
been scared straight. I want you to know that we are all alone together. I really want to thank you guys for following our podcast and being at home.
I hope you binge watch or binge listen to all of our episodes at once, because you have nothing better to do because you stuck at home. Let's be honest here. Come on now. Come on now.
Hopefully you guys are binging this, because
Early episodes must have been rough.
oh no, seriously, I've binged through our episodes a couple times over, and some of those episodes, man, those like 1, 2, and 3 was pretty hard to go through. Thank you for sticking with us for this long. And if people want to find us, Andrew, where would they go?
You guys can email us at upuntilnowpodcast@gmail.com, and feel free to follow our Instagram at upuntilnowpodcast. And please rate, comment, and subscribe to help us help you help us help you. It's more of like a help you help me kind of situation, You guys help us, and we help you. Hopefully, we help you. Let us know what we can do to make things better for you guys, and we'll cater to it. We just want the best for our listeners. But yeah.
And last thank you goes out to Eric. He is the one that has created the intro music and all the music that you hear in our podcast. He has an Instagram account and a SoundCloud account that you can visit. His username on both Instagram and SoundCloud is ch.tunes. Again, that is ch.tunes. He hasn't come out with anything recently, but we are just waiting for more songs to drop so we can just throw them in our episodes because his stuff is pretty legit and I don't know, it's nice to listen to.
Yeah, and we're helping out a friend.
Exactly, and we're helping out a friend. Also, if you do use his music, he lets you download all of his music on SoundCloud. So if you use it, please just give him a shout out. He's a really nice and awesome guy. Yeah, really appreciate that, you guys. And with that, I think that's the end of this episode of Up Until Now podcast. I just want to thank you again for listening, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.